Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. I just have 6 books, so let's just get right into this. Now this book review video, most of the books I actually liked compared to my last book review video, where I didn't really like a lot of the books. So let's get started. So this is the first book in a series called The Prayer Jars. This is called The Hope Jar. It's by Wanda E. Brunstetter, and Wanda E. Brunstetter, in my opinion, writes the best Amish slash Mennonite books like you can get. Like, I tried reading a couple of the other ones, like Beverly Lewis and other ones, and they just did not suit my fancy. I just like this writer a lot better. So it looks like. So it's about this woman who her mother died, and she finds out through her mother's Bible that her grandparents, her maternal grandparents, are actually Amish, and she decides to write them and tell them that she's decided to come and see them and tell them what happened to their daughter. And here what happens, there's another side of the story where there's this other woman who her life has not been good to her. She's been in foster care. She's living in crappy apartments, crappy jobs. She ends up being with this boyfriend that abuses her and stuff. So what happens is the Amish grandparents get this letter, and it was raining, and it dropped, and they really didn't. They only seen like a couple fragmented sentences. And here they go to the bus station on the date that their real granddaughter said she would come, but in the letter she said that she might come, but then she has classes, so it might be later on, like in July. So here they meet this other woman, the woman that was getting abused and just living like a life that, I mean, it's probably a lot of us probably lead or have led at one time in our lives. And so they mistake this woman for their actual granddaughter, so they take her home, and she wants to tell them that, she's not their granddaughter, but she said, maybe if I stay here and lay low, things will get better, I can come up with another plan. So she decides she's going to stay with her grandparents and stuff like that. So here another letter comes from their actual granddaughter, and she decides to write the granddaughter back, saying, pretending to be her grandparents, that she should come like at the end of October. So here what happens is she starts leading like an Amish way of life. She wishes that these were her real grandparents, and that she would just start compare her life to like how these sweet people are treating her and stuff. And then she ends up when the real granddaughter is supposed to come, she ends up leaving, and that's basically where the book stops. Like, the real granddaughter comes, and they don't believe her because they say, oh no, you're not, because of this other woman that was living with them for so long. And they end up believing the real granddaughter, the biological granddaughter, because she showed them proof and stuff. And now they're trying to find this other woman, and the two guys, the other woman had these two guys when she was living with the grandparents that were falling in love with her and stuff. And then this one guy is supposed to come and see the one that was pretending to be the granddaughter, and the real granddaughter's there, so she has to tell him. And that's basically how the book ends. And the second one comes out in February, so stay tuned for that. It doesn't say when in February, just as February 2019. So that was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I had this book for a while. It came out like last year. I don't remember what month it was, but I do remember that I got that book. And I just, with me, it's like when I get new books, I really want to read them, but I have so many other books I want to read because I have some that I've had for years that I have to get through. And then I'm like, I want to read this book really bad, and then I'm like, well, I can't because I have to read these other books first. So this is a crochet mystery series. It's the first in a new series. It's by Betty Hechtman. I don't know how you say their, like, people's last names, because they have, like, a lot of people have, like, really weird last names. So if I mess up, I apologize. It's called Hooked on Murder. This is what it looks like. And it's about this woman who lives in a small town. Her name's Molly. And the group's leader dies. And the group is making this quilt. It's a quilt, like a blanket kind of thing for this charity. And she feels bad because the leader got murdered, and she's trying to figure out who did it while she's trying to help out this group. And then another group, another knitting group, it's a knitting group, and the crochet group is the group that she's in, Molly, are in this, like, feud because of what's happening, and they're trying to recruit new members, and the new members are going over to the new group, and one member of their group's going into this new group. But it was a really nice book, and there is, like, a thing in the back that's, like, there's recipes in it, and there's actually, like, a crochet pattern thing in the book you can actually, like, follow. But it was a really nice book. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, I usually like to read those kind of, like, weird little mystery series type of books. So this book is a book that I'm going to have to read. I have a lot of biographies, and so I never get a chance to read them because, you know, biographies take a long time to get through just because of the fact that it's a lengthy process to read. And this one doesn't have a book jacket on it. It's called The Royal Victorians. It's by Hibbert, something like that. This is what the thing looks like. This is about Queen Victoria's son, Albert, who became King Edward the 7th, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was the 7th. It was the 6th or the 7th. And it just, it basically, I mean, it's just, you know, like, point blank, it's, well, you know, about Edward the 7th. He, you know, from he was a little boy until he was king. And there are a lot of pictures in this book. And, I mean, I knew a lot, like, not a lot, but, like, some stuff about King Edward the 7th. And it was a really interesting book because this is the first book that I've had that, like, wasn't really about, like, Victoria or Queen Elizabeth the First or the Second or Henry the Eighth or whatever. So it's really a weird book, and I just got this book because I'm like, oh, I thought this was about, like, the Victoria, because it says Victorians on it. And then when I read it, it was supposed to be more about her son. And it's in a couple different parts. I think there was 4 parts, I want to say, in it. 4 parts or something like that. Or no, it was just in 2 parts. Excuse me, it was just in 2 parts. One before he was king, and then obviously when he was king, he only lasted 10 years on the throne because he was older when he became king, because Queen Victoria was at the time the longest reigning monarch, but obviously now it's the longest reigning monarch is Queen Elizabeth II. So I read a couple of these before in a book review video, and this is the series called A Puzzle Lady Mystery. It's Parnell Hall. It's called And a Puzzle to Die On, and this is what it looks like. And basically, it's about this older woman who her niece writes the crossword puzzles, but she actually, the niece writes the crossword puzzles for the paper and all this other stuff, and she's really good at puzzles. And the puzzle lady, her aunt, takes the credit for them. So nobody knows that her niece actually writes the puzzles. And here is the puzzle lady's birthday. And all these things are happening, like she doesn't want a birthday party. She doesn't want people to know how old she is. And of course, her niece tells a couple people in town, and they've been sending her through the email these puzzles. And here she ends up trying to help this man, Daryl Daigue, I don't know, Daigue, because he was in jail because he was supposed to have murdered this girl when he was younger, working in this diner. So she's trying to help him. And then at her party, something happens that sends everything into a whirlwind. That happens as close to the end of the book. But I really like it. And these are actually, like, there's puzzles in here that you could actually do yourself. I mean, like, 2 or 3 chapters after she gets one of the puzzles, the answers are in it already because they solve it in the book. But you could do it, like, if you, like, would, write on a piece of paper and do it yourself, like, that would probably be a good thing. And this book, I recently got this book and I really wanted to read it. This is all about, like, history's conspiracy theories. And this is called Conspiracy, the Greatest Plots, Collusions, and Cover-Ups. It's by Charlotte Greig. And it's in 4 chapters. And, like, there's ones about, like, the unknown, like, about aliens and stuff. There's about Watergate and if the moon landing was real, and about who really shot JFK, and there's stuff about, like, the secret groups, like the Illuminati and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed this book. It was really nice, and there was a lot of conspiracies or history cases in this book that I never even knew about. Like, it's basically not like saying, okay, like, this was a conspiracy. It basically says the author is just, like, it gives you, like maybe, like, 2 or 3 sections of the story about one thing. Like, about, okay, like, here's what happened the day, on, like, the stuff that happened on the moon landing. And then it goes into, like, okay, here are these conspiracy theories. It doesn't really say if she believes these conspiracy theories are true or not. She just is showing you some of the conspiracy theories that people have used through history. And this is what it looks like. And I got this at Five Below. It's a store where it's just, like, stuff that's, like, $5. Well, $1 to $5, I should say. That's how I could say it. And I really like it because I do like history, and there's history in it. I mean, conspiracy theories, like, I know aren't really, like, kind of part of history, because it just shows you, like, some other ideas. I mean, I don't really think some of the conspiracy theories are true in this book, but it really gets your mind to thinking, like, in another way of just it being, like, in black and white all the time, basically. Like, it makes you see how others portray it more so than, okay, like, here's what people said about this and that, you know what I mean, like, that kind of stuff. So I haven't read one of these books in a very long time. It's a Cedar Cove novel. It's the 7th one in the series. It's called 74 Seaside Avenue. It's by Debbie Macomber. This is what it looks like. And I was a little bit nervous to read this book because I didn't read any of the Cedar Cove books in a really long time, or the Chesapeake Shores ones. And I'm like, oh, like, what if, like, I forget what happened in the last book, the 6th book, and all this stuff. But in each chapter, it really gets into like, what happened to them in previous books, so you're all caught up in case you just first started reading the series and you just read this one first. And the one thing that you have to take into effect is with the Cedar Cove Chesapeake Shore book. Chesapeake Shore book is based on, like, one family that has, like, one problem, one big problem, and then there's, like, a secondary problem. And with these books, it's mostly, like, all of this town all have, like, their problems. All these families have these problems, and there's not really, like, one specific big problem. It's always, like, a couple different problems in the book, but only a few get solved. If that makes any sense. And this book was about a couple different women. The one woman is scared because she went to the doctor and she has to go through all these tests. And in the book, I think it was Olivia. That's who it was, Olivia. And then at the end of the book, she's trying to figure it all out and how things are going to go. The one woman, works in this nail salon, and she is being watched by these people that because she just married this chess champion, and chess champion is worried for her because of what this other Russian chess champion said and did and stuff, and she really wants him to go back to doing chess again, but he really doesn't want to because of what's going on with her. And another person at the same salon is dealing with the fact that she doesn't know who she wants to be with. She doesn't know if she wants to be with this one guy or stay with this other guy. And then this other woman in the book, she ends up leaving the town because of the fact that she was seeing this like veterinarian guy or something like that, I think he was, and he ended up breaking her heart, and she just wanted to leave town because of what happened. She didn't want any trace of him in her mind or in this town, and then all this stuff happens to her while she's trying to get her footing in this new town, and it was just a lot to take in. But I really like these books. I like these and the Chesapeake Shore books, even though they're not by the same author. And it was a nice book. I mean, you kind of have to read them in order. I mean, I've been reading them in order, and I just really like them because, you know, it's like you get like a homey or homely sense through these books, to me at least. So those were all the books I have for this book review video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time with another video, and please subscribe.